Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another Vintage Cube draft. Now, I'm obviously going to start mocks here. I'm a little sad to see so many fun cards in this pack. Mainly the Wheel of Fortune and the Time Spiral, but we're definitely taking the mocks. We might just be like Mono Red, because Mono Red's frequently open, and Mono Red powered up with things like mocks is insanely good. Okay, well, we have two distinctly different options we can take here. I can absolutely take Thalia, and we can play the same deck I played last time, actually. Or I can take Talarian Academy, because we have a Mox now, and we can start sniping all the cheap artifacts and do something really, really broken. Which is a lot more fun, less good, because Thalia is just insane, and playing turn 1 Thalia can be absolutely game over for a lot of decks in this format. I'm going to try drafting for fun. We're going to take Academy. And a Workshop. Kind of hoping Sad Robot Wheels. Would not mind Repeal, but definitely taking Workshop. Alright, I can take Ballista here. Some Storm cards going around in this pack. Pack 1 was Time Spiral. We got Yawgmoth's Will here, but definitely a walking Ballista sort of deck. I think Memory Jar qualifies. There's a lot of nasty things you can do with a Memory Jar. And if we happen to get that Narset, I could, in fact, play her and Memory Jar. No artifacts in this pack. So what do we take? I could take the Plateau just to have the access to the fixing, because the red-white deck is still an option. Like, I think that's probably a good idea, because there's just nothing else in that pack for us. Divining Top is great if you have Academy. I'm sad to pass Lightning Bolt for it. So I'm going to take Divining Top. I could see this being an Oath of Druids deck. If we just go, like, very minimal creatures in the early game, we wouldn't be playing Walking Ballista in that situation. But I'll take Oath. There's a good chance that we get some, like, big, gigantic creatures we can play. I could take Bazaar, and we could do, like, Artifact Ramp into Reanimator. Or, like, Artifact Ramp into, like, big dudes plus Reanimator sub-theme. I could take Lotus Bloom if I want to speculate on getting a Tezzeret, and I can take Yorion and just have a creature outside my deck for non-Oath related reasons. I'm going to take Bazaar. I don't think it's that likely we go Reanimator, but it is possible. I'm going to take Shallow Grave just on the off chance we are playing Reanimator, even though having the... what was it? I don't even remember what I was just saying. So I can take Living Death. We can have more reanimation spells. Sure. We've already passed Elish Norn in this pack as, like, big Reanimator target, so... Nope, never mind, it came back around. There's also an Opposition Agent, which I have a Mox, I have Academy, and I could... It would be really bad if I was playing Oath, so I'm just going to take Elish Norn. Pernicious Deed is probably not the deck for if we're going to be playing a lot of artifacts. I think I'm going to take Heartless Act just to have some onboard removal. Corpse Dance is a great reanimation spell. Because it has buyback, though it's important to know it grabs the top card. I'm going to take Toxic Deluge, though, because we already have several reanimation spells that are decent, and I would rather have the ability to board wipe. So in this pack, we have Thrawn Dynamo, there's Dark Ritual, Baleful Strix, Bribery. Okay. Dark Ritual is great because we have a whole bunch of... We're probably going to be playing black in our deck, so we're going to have a whole bunch of black cards. We kind of want Dark Ritual. Thrawn Dynamo can help accelerate us into, like, really big threats. Bribery wins the game if it's cast 9 times out of 10. And we do have Academy, so we, in theory, could cast a fast Bribery. Bribery also won't wheel, and probably neither will Thrawn Dynamo. Baleful Strix might. I could also take Gruul Signet, because it fixes for green, so we could play Oath. I'm going to take the Signet. I need more cheap artifacts if I'm going to play Academy, and we're not there yet. Okay, I could take Bolas' Citadel. That is an artifact we can actually cast off of if we're playing a lot of black mana. Although having it and Reanimator targets in the same deck would be kind of weird. I could take Upheaval and take advantage of the mana rocks, though we don't have a ton of them yet. I would have to, like, speculate into that being the case. I could take Grave Titan, because Living Death on a Grave Titan would be fun. Although it's not as good with, like, Shallow Grave. Shallow Grave is better when you're reanimating Emrakul. Let's see. I think I'm gonna... This is probably the worst out of all of the cards I could take, but Upheaval is a lot of fun, so I'm gonna take Upheaval. Okay, we have Arid Mesa, which doesn't really fix for us. Scalding Tarn, which doesn't really fix for us either. I don't know if I'm playing blue or if I'm playing blue how much blue I'm playing. I could take Miscalc, as it would be one of the better cards in this pack. I could also take Collective Brutality, because Brutality is a way to get more information out of my opponent, pitch a card that I do want to reanimate. It also kills Dorks, which is very nice. I could take Thraben Inspector just to as like technically an artifact, but Brutality is a lot better. Godless Shrine, Polluted Delta, Smokestack. Smokestack almost certainly wheels. This card is very rarely ever picked because it takes a specific deck. So at this stage of the game, it would probably wheel. I'm probably best off taking a Polluted Delta. Yeah, I'm going to take Polluted Delta. Unfortunately, this is not an opposition deck. Just being that we're not going to have a lot of low drop creatures. I'm probably not even playing Walking Ballista. I'm going to take Exhume. We're still looking for big creatures to play. And I guess Vorinclex technically qualifies, but I like Thoughtseize. Watery Grave is great. Yeah, I'm going to take Thoughtseize. It's not a bargain deck. It's not really a Monastery Mentor deck. I could take Thief of Sanity if I'm worried about the Reanimator plan not panning out. I could also take Treasure Cruise. What is the best card for us here? I think I'm going to take Treasure Cruise. I'm not sure if I can make it work in this deck, though. I like Inquisition. Baleful Strix came around. This is not a Shrine of Burning Rage deck. Although, if we're playing Oath of Druids, we're not playing Baleful Strix. I will take Grave Titan. We did not get Dark Ritual. We also did not get Thrawn Dynamo, and maybe I needed Thrawn Dynamo. But the reason that I took the Signet over Dynamo is because of Academy. Dynamo is good, like, if you play multiple Moxen into Academy into Dynamo, then you just untap with an insane amount of mana. But I think the cheaper artifacts are better in this deck. Plus, it does also help to splash Oath of Druids, because we can just turn any color of mana into Oath. Savannah's not fetchable by Polluted Delta. We have Hand Hate that's flashbackable with Arcanist, but anything we take here is probably going to be off color. I think I'm just going to put Nature's Claim in the sideboard. Heck, I may even main deck it. Expansion Explosion. I guess Goldspan Dragon. This does synergize with the Tolarian Academy, and I guess if I Oathed into this, I wouldn't be the most upset. So I'll take it because we're really light on Oath targets. This is not a 1,000-Year Storm deck. Concealed Courtyard potentially helps us splash Elishnorn. Anguished Unmaking, and an Eidolon in the sideboard. Alright, so we want Emrakul. There's Channel, there's Emrakul. Okay, I'm gonna take Emrakul because I have Shallow Grave. And we just need something, right? I would take Channel, but I think in general it's gonna be pretty bad. Yeah, we only have Shallow Grave to reanimate Emrakul, though. And we're definitely not ramping hard enough to just hard cast it. Not yet, anyway. Not unless I get like a Mox and a Signet in every single pack after this. We don't have enough artifacts to tinker for Kobolth the Forge Master. So now I'm kind of just half-drafting 3 different archetypes, which is probably bad. Ashen Rider is a great Reanimator target. Necromancy can be cast at instant speed. But I'm going to take Signet here, because I do need Signets. This is double on color because of Oath and all of the black spells we're casting. There's a Coercive Portal, Tangle Wire, Blooming Marsh. There's a Faithless Looting. What do we take here? I think it's Coercive Portal. This card is very strong. It's effectively Phyrexian Arena with no downside, but for only 1 more mana, and it's all colorless. So I'm going to take the Portal. Okay. I like Unburial Rites. We can get back at Elishnorn or Grave Titan. Sylvan Library is also good. I like Wormcoil. What do I actually take here? I could just take Questing Beast. Or Frost Titan. Frost Titan is reasonable. I'm going to take Frost Titan. There's Ulamog. There's Duress. Glenalandra is also great. Ulamog is actually reanimatable. I would take Duress here, and then we could just have Duress, Inquisition, Thoughtseize. But I think Ulamog is the best choice for us here, because it's a good hit off of Oath that ends the game quickly, and it's also reanimatable, and it's a really high power reanimation, so... Okay. I can take Lily. Lily would be good. I can also take Ashiok. Dark Petition to a lesser extent, or I could take Library. Probably not Library, because we really started hard on this Academy plan, but I don't think that's going to pan out for us. So I think we take Lily because we can discard reanimation targets. Blightsteel, not reanimatable. Death's Majesty Liliana is a Planeswalker that can win the game as well as be a reanimation spell. So I'm probably going to take that. Pack Rat, there's a Lotus Petal, which technically counts for Academy. Can also accelerate us a little bit. Yeah, I'll take Lotus Petal. The only reason I'm taking Lotus Petal is because it synergizes with Academy. Pack Rat, if we're doing Oath of Druids, we don't want Pack Rat. So I'm going to take Agadeem's Awakening. It seems pretty free to play here. We have so many reanimation spells at this point. We have Exhume, Shallow Grave, Living Death, Liliana, Death's Majesty. Yeah, I'm taking Ashen Rider. Just a good target. Tangle Wire's fun, but I don't think we actually have enough mana rocks to like make it efficient. I'm just going to take the fixing in the form of Blooming Marsh. On Burial Rites, we can splash off Concealed Courtyard, the flashback. So I'll take on Burial Rites. So it's kind of a very strange morph into like Oath Reanimator, which means we are probably not playing any cheap creatures that we got at all. We're not playing Goldspan Dragon. Duress came all the way around. I'm going to take Duress. Putrid Imp, I'm not taking because we have Oath. Dark Petition actually has some game here. It's effectively Demonic Tutor because of how much black mana symbols are in all of our cards. So I don't think we're playing Treasure Cruise. We unfortunately did not get enough mana for Upheaval, and it's better in the blue-green deck anyway. I don't know why I took Upheaval. There was like 3 other cards in that pack that I should have taken over Upheaval. But I was like zeroed in on the fact I was trying to play this artifact acceleration deck that just I don't think is going to work. So group creatures separately. That's what I want to see. We start our curve out at 6. So if I'm playing Oath, I'm not playing Frost Titan, that's for sure. I would be pretty okay with oathing into any of these creatures except Grave Titan, because that immediately lets my opponent oath, and probably for something scarier. The rest of these cards, they're fine. So we don't have that many reanimation targets. So that's something we have to be aware of. I'm not playing Plateau. So these cards over here, Bazaar of Baghdad is effectively a spell. So I need to make room for like 18 lands in this deck, I think, or 17. Mox Ruby is a land. It's a colorless land for us. Memory Jar, we don't really need to draw 7. I like having the signets for green. I think that's important. Lotus Petal, also a spell. It's kind of like a Pyretic Ritual that gets any color. So I need to cut 2 cards at least, possibly 3. We have a lot of discard. I think Heartless Act is fine to remove. It potentially has... it's a great sideboard card for us, I think, entirely, but I'm also going to cut Anguished Unmaking. We have Living Death as a form of board wipe. We have Collective Brutality to interact with stuff that's actually on the board. We have Toxic Deluge as a great board wipe. And I actually think I'm going to cut Dark Petition. Oh, Agadeem's Awakening is a land. So I can bring back in one of those cards. And I think the best one for us is probably Heartless Act or Anguished Unmaking. Maybe Dark Petition. I think Heartless Act, just because it's the cheapest. Okay, so we have Bazaar, Awakening, Courtyard, Ruby, Blooming Marsh, Delta. We have... I don't think we have enough artifacts for Academy or Workshop. We had such a great start for that, too. I like Top because we do have 1 fetch land, which can make it a lot better. Maybe I shouldn't be playing Lotus Petal. So 15, 16 lands, plus Bazaar, Lotus Petal. Yeah, I think a lot of the time Academy's going to tap for nothing, and I'm going to feel silly. Oh, 17 lands because of Awakening. I keep forgetting that the sort places it over there. Let me just shrink this back down, and we'll get a good look at everything. So Awakening goes in the land pile. We have ye old pile of Oath/Reanimator targets. Yeah, I like this. I think this will work. It may not work well, or it may work fantastically. It really depends on what happens here. So, all right, I'll see you guys in round 1. Should be fun. Turn 1 Thoughtseize is good, but this hand is not, so that's a mulligan for round 1. Okay, this hand has potential. I can see it. I'm gonna put back the Swamp. Now we just need to draw Discard Outlet and something to reanimate. There's something to reanimate. So, play Blooming Marsh. Go ahead and Inquisition, see what's going on over there. Char, Manamorphose, Turnabout. So this is Storm. Take Manamorphose from them. We'll play out Mox Ruby just in case they're playing black for like hand disruption. Pass the turn. But we gotta do something and quickly. Oath likely will not do anything versus my opponent. Play Polluted Delta, fetch, get a swamp, pass the turn. Just gonna thin my deck a little bit here. Pretty sure if I draw Collective Brutality, this game is over, because even Shallow Graving an Ulamog to exile 20 cards probably wins the game. Bazaar of Baghdad. That should do it. So, discard Ulamog, land. Let's go ahead and Shallow Grave. Go to combat. Yeah, it's highly unlikely my opponent, highly unlikely my opponent can storm off with 8 cards in their deck and, like, 1 non-land card in their hand. So let's run it back. This hand is missing green mana or a discard outlet. And honestly, I'm going to keep this hand because I can just draw up to 8 and discard Ulamog. And we can go for a turn 3 Shallow Grave on Ulamog. Opponent untaps. If I draw a Mox, it's turn 2. That's always the scary reanimation hand. Oh, when your opponent just, like, doesn't do anything turn 1. Opponent plays Electromancer. I'm gonna play Agadeem the Undercrypt tapped. Pass the turn. Actually, I probably shouldn't even be playing this card. Yeah, because I'd have to pay 13 mana into it. So I don't know why I'm playing this card. Probably take that out if I remember. Opponent's paying 3 mana for something. Frantic Search. Okay, it does net them a mana. Opponent discards Thieving Skydiver and a Mountain. They play a Coalition Relic. Suspend Ancestral Visions. Now, having played Ancestral Visions in Storm personally, I do not think it's that great. Shallow Grave, go to combat, attack, exile 20 cards. Those are good cards. We got Mana Drain, Krark the Thumbless, Manamorphose, High Tide, Muldrifter. Opponent only has 9 cards left. They are charging up Coalition Relic. And I mean, if they storm off into, like, Empty the Warrens or something, we just Toxic Deluge and pay 1 life. Or 2, I guess, to kill Electromancer. Opponent hits us for 2. We untap. Play a Swamp. I'm going to do this now, because it does drastically limit their mana. Opponent's charging up Coalition Relic. They untap. Ancestral Visions coming off Suspend in 2 turns. Interesting that they're playing Abbot of Carol Keep in a Storm deck. We draw Liliana, Death's Majesty, which we can play next turn. Pass the turn. Opponent charges up Coalition Relic again. Alright, they got nothing. Draw Lily of the Veil. Play Lily, playing around Miscalc and Spell Pierce. Uptick. Discard Ashen Rider. Opponent discards Past in Flames. So they didn't really discard a card that turn, that's fine. Charge up the Relic. So opponent gets to Ancestral Visions this turn. They'll have, like, just a couple of cards left. They char our face. Opponent could have Tendrils off of Coalition Relic. If they Brain Freeze us, they're going to discover to their horror that we're playing Emrakul. That would be hilarious. Like, even if my opponent went through the extra, like, difficult storm off. They add blue. Opponent has 5, possibly 6 mana, and they somehow have to kill us. So 6 mana. Opponent plays Birgi. Into nothing? Really? We draw a Swamp. Make them sack. Play a Swamp. Play Liliana, Death's Majesty. Get back an Ashen Rider. Exile Coalition Relic. And the game is over. That was brutal. Alright, I'll see you guys in round 2. Alright, round 2. This looks like a good hand I'm going to keep. Opponent starts Shelldock Isle. So I'm going to lead on Duress while I have the best opportunity to resolve it. Opponent has Azorius, Signet, Bribery, Commit to Memory, and Tinker. Take Tinker. Although if they cast Bribery, we're probably dead, because they just get Emrakul. Opponent plays the Signet and plays an island. We untap. Play Bazaar. Activate Bazaar. Put Ulamog, Elish Norn, and a Swamp into the grave. Inquire against our opponent. They have Primal Command. Take Jace from them. Alright, well the good news is they seem to be lacking mana to cast Bribery, and they drew another land. We untap, draw Signet, activate Bazaar, We get Liliana, so put Swamp, Swamp, Swamp into the grave. Play Swamp, play Signet, pass the turn. This is going to come down to whether or not my opponent draws a 5th land. We untap, draw Swamp, play Signet, pass the turn. They do have Commit. We untap. We draw Emrakul. So if they bribery us, they won't see Emrakul, but they can get Ashen Rider. So play Liliana, Death's Majesty. I expect this to get the commit. And if it does, we at least dodge the Emrakul, which is great. Absolutely fantastic. So uptick. We're going to mill. I'm not going to reanimate because my opponent could just then commit the reanimated creature. If I uptick again, or if I activate Bazaar, I have to be really careful because my opponent can then cast whatever's under Shelldock. Still no bribery. Okay, we untap, drawing Lily. Gonna reanimate Elish Norn. Go to combat. Hit them for 4. I'm not playing out Lily because if I play out Lily and don't uptick, my opponent is going to get very suspicious. I'm trying to force them to do something. 5 mana. We get briberied. So here comes Ashen Rider. Exiling probably Elish Norn. Maybe Liliana, depending. So they don't know we have Emrakul. That is the key. Okay, they exile Lily. That makes sense to me. And then they pass. We untap. We draw Shallow Grave. Oh! Yeah, I think we gotta do it now. Because, like, they have to exile Emrakul. If we do that, there's just no other option, right? Hang on, if I play Lily and downtick, make them sack, then... Because I have 5 mana. I can downtick Lily, make them sack, they'll get rid of, like, Elish Norn, and then we just reanimate Emrakul and kill them? Yeah, that's definitely what we do here. So, play Lily, make you sack Ashen Rider. They probably exile Elish Norn. And hold priority, activate Bazaar, drop to 4 cards, discard Heartless Act, Mox Ruby, Emrakul, Shallow Grave. Oh, this deck's sweet. I'm glad I shifted over to Reanimator because this deck is awesome. Alright, yeah, pass the turn. We shouldn't be this weak to bribery because we do have Duress and Thoughtseize. Inquisition can't hit bribery, but we don't have Oath. This hand is really slow. I'm going to mulligan. I'm going to keep, and I'm going to put back Swamp. Opponent starts Shelldock Isle. We untap. We draw Agadeem's Awakening, which I should have taken out. Play Swamp. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Forest into a Lotus Cobra. We untap. Draw Swamp. Play Swamp. Destroy Lotus Cobra, because it's scary. Pass the turn. They play a Signet and a Tundra. We untap and draw Thoughtseize. So, fire off Thoughtseize. Tinker, Primal Command. Take Tinker. I don't know what they're tinkering for, but it's definitely not good for us. Play Agadeem the Undercrypt. Tapped. Pass the turn. I'm not activating Bazaar because I was worried about bribery. Looks like they might be casting Primal Command. They Primal Command away Agadeem the Undercrypt. And they're searching their library for a creature. Consecrated Sphinx. Alright, we untap. We somehow draw Agadeem's Awakening. So play Bazaar. Activate Bazaar. We'll get rid of Awakening, Swamp, and Living Death. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays an island. Here comes Consecrated Sphinx. Oh, I needed to keep that Swamp if I was going to cast Deluge. We untap. Draw Lotus Petal. So I can draw up to 6 cards, then discard 3. Giving them the ability to have so many extra draws. I guess I should have Lotus Petaled Toxic Deluge first, and then just not done this. I'm going to get rid of Lotus Petal, Deluge, because we're going to try and play Liliana. Yeah, I definitely did this in the wrong order. I've got a bad feeling if I put back Emrakul that they're actually going to have bribery now that they've just drawn like 9 cards. So I'm going to put back Blooming Marsh. Opponent can draw extra cards here, that's fine. Play Swamp. Play Lily. And downtick. Pass the turn. Opponent's got a full fist of cards and can activate Shelldock Isle. Definitely misplayed this game. Yep, there's the bribery. So I imagine they go and get Ulamog. They could get Ashen Rider and then take out Bazaar, and that would be an enormous problem. But we need to draw Shallow Grave. Yep, okay. If we draw Shallow Grave this turn, we're good. But we have to draw exactly Shallow Grave. That is not what I said. Alright, let's go to next game, because I'm dumb. I could bring in Nature's Claim. I don't think that's necessary. I'm just going to run it back. If we get a fast reanimation hand, they're probably in trouble. I think this counts. We have Oath, but we have no green mana. We do, however, have Top. I'm going to keep this. And we're going to lead on Duress, which should be pretty good. Opponent seems like kind of soft to hand hate. Duress them. Brainstorm, and then just creatures. Alright. Pass the turn. Well, if we can top deck our Blooming Marsh, this Oath of Druids is going to be fantastic. Opponent starts Lumbering Falls. We untap. We draw Unburial Rites. So, play Swamp. Play Top. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps. Plays Razor Verge Thicket. Into Jace. Let's go ahead and spin the top. We'll put Deluge, Swamp, Bazaar of Baghdad back exactly like that. Okay, opponent resolves Jace. We untap. We draw Bazaar. So let's 2-mode. Duress, kill. Duress my opponent, kill Jace. Pitching Unburial Rites. Alright, they did draw a third land. Play Bazaar, pass the turn. So opponent probably plays Forest Tracker, I imagine. We untap, spin the top. Can I get all of these cards? Do I want any of these cards? I guess I would like to draw the Swamp. Play the Swamp, pass the turn. We have a Mox on top of our deck. Opponent plays a land, gets a clue, harmonizes. Okay. So we want to draw a Signet, if somehow possible. I think I'm just going to deluge away this tracker. Pass the turn. Opponent preordains. They have the dreaded bribery mana. So spin top on our upkeep. We do have Unburial Rites in the grave, so I do want to draw Concealed Courtyard and play it. Pass the turn. And I think this turn I'm going to probably end up like spinning top and then activating Bazaar. I may actually draw with top first to have an extra card in hand, so I don't have to discard Emrakul or Oath, depending on whether or not my opponent briberies or what's going on. Opponent plays a Wall of Blossoms. They draw. They play a Tundra. Spin the top. Okay, it doesn't matter as long as it's in the top 2 cards, I think. So we untap, draw Mox Ruby, activate Bazaar, drop those 3 cards. Unburial Rites, Emrakul, or not Emrakul, Ulamog. They probably have a counterspell or some kind of interaction. Well, it's on-board interaction, whatever it is. I would be very surprised if they had nothing they could do to this. They will only have 1 card left in deck if it attacks. Alright, we untap, spin the top. We do get Groll Signet. So put back Inquisition, Elishnorn, Groll Signet. Draw the Signet. Go to combat. Oh, they have Thassa's Oracle. They want us to attack. Oh, I put stuff back the wrong way too. Go to combat. We are going to attack, and we're going to try and Inquisition them. If they have a counter for Inquisition, we're done. I didn't even think about that. That's terrible. I should have put Inquisition on top and led with that to know if it was going to be safe to attack. Alright, we exile 20 cards. Opponent takes 10. Spin the top. Put back Inquisition. Draw a card. Inquisition? If it's commit, we can draw it and recast it. Oh, if they have anything else, though, we're super toast. Okay, we gotta dump top, Emrakul, Oath, I think. Let Emrakul shuffle back in. Inquisition? You have another counterspell? Oh. They have Ancestral Recall, and they were debating using it. Take Thassa's Oracle. Pass the turn. So there goes their instant win Ace in the Hole. They can flashback Memory to draw a new hand of 7, and then they'll have 5 cards left in their deck, but then we have a full grip, and they have to have like a Path to Exile. They don't have it. We know all the cards. And them flashing back Memory, we just attack with Ulamog and win. Oh man, I can't believe I punted that hard, or that I found a way out of it. Yeah, they have no cards left. They commit to Memory. They gotta have like an unsummon. Then they Brainstorm. But we just attack and they die, right? Yeah! Woohoo! We did it! Alright, I'll see you guys in round 3. Alright, welcome to round 3. This is a turn 2 Coercive Portal after a turn 1 Thoughtseize. I think I'm good with that. Oh no, not Thoughtseize! No! Damn it! Ugh. So they're probably going to take our Thoughtseize or our Mox. They took our Mox. Thoughtseize them. Hope it's not all like Reanimator targets. Let's see, Copter, Null Priest of Oblivion, Liliana's Triumph. Take Copter. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Plains, plays Null Priest. We untap, we draw Concealed Courtyard, play a Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent untaps, they draw, probably play Shambling Vent. They hit us for 2 first. They play Shambling Vent. And they're playing something else. Walking Ballista on 1. Okay. So the good news is, it looks like my opponent is not Reanimator, they're just like black-white aggro. Play Coercive Portal, pass the turn. They untap, play a Swamp. They may actually animate Shambling Vent here just to get in more damage. We're probably going to cast a Living Death very soon. They hit us for 3. They put a counter on Ballista. We take 4 and go to 12. Untap, vote Homage, draw Emrakul, draw Signet, play Swamp, play Signet, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. The reason I played out Signet is because if I draw Bazaar in the next couple of turns, I can try and Bazaar into dropping something huge in the grave and then Living Death. So we take 5. Opponent plays a Field and a Petal. We untap, vote Homage, draw Swamp, we draw Bazaar. So play Bazaar, activate it, drop Elishnorn, Swamp, Swamp into the grave. Living Death. Now we get to play an Elishnorn against an opponent that Elishnorn is theoretically very good against. And we're drawing 2 cards a turn. My opponent does have Liliana's Triumph, though. So they can just make it us sack Elishnorn. Alright. So we need to draw another Reanimation spell. The good news is we have the mana to cast any Reanimation spell in our deck. An opponent is top decking. They animate Shambling Vent. Hit us for 2. We go down to 2. We untap. Homage. Draw top. Draw Plains. Play top. Spin top. Exhume. Exhume is what we want. Put back Awakening. Oath. Exhume. Draw with top. Cast Exhume, getting back Elishnorn. And we have to hope our opponent does not have another removal spell immediately that they can play in addition to Animating Vent. We untap. Coercive Portal. Homage. Draw top. Draw Oath. Play top. Spin top. There's a Shallow Grave. So put back those 2, and then put back Shallow Grave. Activate Bazaar. Ditch. Awakening. Emrakul. Plains. Cast Shallow Grave. Alright. We shuffle our grave back in. Go to combat. Attack for a lot. And opponent loses all of their permanents. Nice. That was close. Oh, but it worked. Alright, run it back. This is a really sick Reanimator deck, and I was really worried it wasn't going to be. I don't play Reanimator all that often, so I'm not a very good judge of like how good a Reanimator deck's going to be. And honestly, with only 4 creatures, and one of them we can't even reanimate with any real frequency. I was extremely concerned we were just going to get stuck with Emrakul and never actually do anything with it. But it's working! Alright. This strikes me as being a good hand, so I'm going to keep. We get to lead on a Thoughtseize or Duress. And then if we don't get Thoughtseize turn 1, we can Mox Ruby into top as well. Opponent starts tap land after mulliganing to 5. Play Swamp. Thoughtseize. They got Rotting Reggie, Bloodchief's Thirst, Liliana's Triumph. So take Reggie, Mox, top. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, plays Mishra's Factory, and plays a Null Priest of Oblivion. We draw Unburial Rites. I should have spun the top, that was actually wrong. So Duress my opponent, taking the Edict. It's much harder for them to actually target our threats with Bloodchief's Thirst. Though not impossible. Pass the turn. Opponent probably going to animate Mishra's Factory. Okay. So we gotta hopefully find something to help stop this clock. Like Deluge here would be perfect. Well, not perfect, actually, because it doesn't answer Mishra's Factory, but spin the top. Put back Living Death, Liliana, Coercive Portal. Untap. Yeah, I should have played this tapped last turn. That was a mistake, because now I have to take 3 more life. The punts are adding up fast. Pass the turn. Opponent animates Mishra's Factory. Okay, we're gonna homage, draw some cards, Liliana and Living Death. Then we spin the top, put back Polluted Delta, Bazaar, Brutality, draw Brutality. I could 3-mode this, so Duress, Kill, Drain. We're gonna discard Living Death and Ashen Rider. We don't want a Living Death because my opponent has a Rotting Regisaur. They have Mox Jet. They have Animate Dead? They can Animate Dead our Ashen Rider? How rude! Oh. And I discarded Living Death. Living Death would have been a way to get rid of Ashen Rider, but we probably wouldn't resolve it anyway. So we're drawing top as well. Top 1 unknown. So opponent's going to Animate Dead Ashen Rider. There's no way they don't. Exile Coercive Portal. They animate here. They hit us for 2. They didn't attack. That was a mistake. We untap. We draw top. Play top. Spin top. Draw Bazaar. Play Bazaar. Draw 2 cards. Discard top Forest Rites. Pass the turn. We're going to get to keep 1 card in hand next turn, and we basically have to... Oh, okay, this gives us Liliana, actually. I'm going to get a Plains here. Opponent can hit us for 6. It only reanimates our creatures. Same with Unburial Rites. We draw Swamp. Man, they got us with the Living Animate Dead. Ugh. Dare use my own creatures against me? That probably means I gotta bring in Nature's Claim. Agadeem's Awakening is just out. We're going to add a regular Swamp. I keep forgetting that, and it actually potentially cost me that game, because if I had played Liliana and upticked with my opponent missing the attack, we would have been at 1 and have been able to block one of the creatures they animate. What's bad here? What's real bad? I'm not sure we have anything that's really bad. I'm just not going to run the Nature's Claim. I would like to play first. We have Bazaar, Shallow Grave. Alright, I will keep this. I'm going to lead on Polluted Delta, but I'm not going to crack it. Unless it becomes clear that my opponent has, like, potentially an opposition agent or something. Dark Ritual. Kitesail Freebooter. Okay. Well, we have Brutality and Heartless Act, but we do need to draw another land. I have Bazaar of Baghdad to help find a land. Though, if I have to play Bazaar, I'm not able to cast my removal next turn. They take Collective Brutality. Okay, pass. We're not fetching because we want to draw a land. Okay, there's a land. So fetch with Polluted Delta, get a Swamp, play a Swamp, and I'm gonna pass. Opponent untaps. They play a land. Bitter Blossom. Alright, they go to combat. I am gonna kill Freebooter. We untap. Draw Unburial Rites. Play Bazaar. Activate it. Discard Unburial Rites, Ashen Rider, Signet. Thoughtseize. Opponent has Midnight Reaper, Porcelain Legionnaire. Take Midnight Reaper. We're going to really, really hope they don't draw Animate Dead. Opponent plays Field. They may just Field Bazaar because of how powerful it is. But that does fix our mana for Unburial Rites. And then if we draw land, we Unburial Rites Ashen Rider and opponent has a bad time. Okay, they do Field. Get a Plains, because that's the play we have. Forest would be banking on drawing Oath. Opponent gets a basic Swamp. Okay. They just concede? Oh, I don't know if that was right. They were probably dead, but... Can I return to game? We were drawing Deluge, and then Exhume. Exhume would have gotten them. I guess I could Shallow Grave, actually, but I could just hold up Shallow Grave. So yeah, even if my opponent did have Disruption, then we would have gotten them. Let's go ahead and open our treasure chest, though. Woo! 3-0'd with the best Reanimator deck I've ever drafted. Even though I had no idea it was the best Reanimator deck. We got 5 play points, a Shivan Reef, and a Radiant Destiny. Well, alright then. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier. And we've been having a lot of fun on stream. I've been having a lot of fun playing Vintage Cube. This one, I don't know how much more Vintage Cube I'm going to be able to record. It's probably one more video. This might be the last one until it goes away for a while. I had this in mind that I was gonna like pre-record a whole bunch of them, and I'm only a few ahead. I've been pressing hard to try and get it done, but I just this might end up being the last one because of life just getting busy, and a few things have happened that like my general like couple of free days during the week that I used to recover from everything, I've actually had to do stuff on. So anyway, I'll see you guys next time. You're all wonderful human beings, and thanks for watching. Bye!